Whew. Alright, hopefully this is all working. I really shouldn't start all my streams off that way. Hi and welcome back to another Paint and Chat. It is Wednesday, November 13th, and I don't know if any of you guys had off for the Veterans Day holiday, which thank you to all the vets out there for sure. And, but, you know, everybody started back yesterday, and today, I don't know, it's been an extra exhausting week for whatever reason. 3-day weekends always like that follow into a work week, just rough. So I'm happy to be sitting, painting, chatting. Wishing I'd replaced my water before I started, but okay. And I think sound and everything should be working appropriately too. So, once again, hello, Samuel. Appreciate you joining the chat. Alurian, welcome. David Dog. The show is cool to chill out and ask hobby questions while doing late night work. I can also see an end in sight for my Bad Moons org. Oh, that's good. Congratulations. Hey, Jeremy, welcome. Hey, Patrick. Saw the post of your alabaster dudes and the terrain stuff. It looks really good. Shale, welcome. Paul, thank you as always, my favorite moderator. Yes, hear me. I was late. It's been, I don't know, man. This week it's already been like really rough for whatever reason. So, okay. So what am I working on today? Well, what are you guys working on? I'm working on the same model I was working on with Flo the other day, but I have the base coating all done for this lovely Kadoran dude. Oh, let's just get that camera a little easier. So we should be able to see the Man of War strike tanker. So, getting some metal on, gonna do the rust effects, all that good stuff. Actually, I've got an extra light here that can kind of help illuminate the details of it. Yeah, that works. So, that's what I'm gonna be working on, and because the base coating of the red is largely done, it shouldn't be as bananas to, it's boring to watch, hopefully. So, yes. How has your week been going for all of you out there in internet land? I know, I don't know if all of you guys get the same like holidays and stuff, but again, coming back, kind of rough. Nice wet brush to start, and still start with our favorite red and get all that in there. So I'm gonna catch up with you guys for a bit. What's been happening in your world? Jeremy, I guess I need to figure out how to add Disney Plus so I can watch The Mandalorian and talk about it with my brother. Have fun with that, Jeremy. Yeah, Disney Plus launched, I guess, this week and immediately crashed. But, I mean, there were however many millions of people subscribing to it, so that's not particularly surprising. And there's already reviews out for Mandalorian, and apparently it's amazing. So I will have to find out at some point, but I've got friends with Disney Plus, so I will just go watch it there. Not really interested in having yet another streaming service. As it is, I pay for, well, I guess I pay for the YouTube one. Is that it? I don't know that I actually pay for any other streaming service. I don't watch a lot of TV. Go out and see the movies. Basically what I do. I'm glad to see they have more suitable legs now. I wanted to get into Warmachine years ago, but all the jacks seem to have skipped leg day. So this isn't actually a warjack, Illyrian. This is a dude in a suit. The warjacks are still little. They got some funny little legs going on. I personally think they're charming, but I could definitely see where it's not impressive looking. I'm trying to think if there's an exception to that. You'd probably like the Rulik jacks, because everything there is a little more evenly chunky. Because even the arms and stuff for Warmachine machines, they're all kind of like skinny with big fists and all that. And that's just I mean, that's part of the aesthetic. You like it or you don't, but that's what you get, you know? Rulik is probably a touch of an exception to that. Did you read the article on BBC on singer Rod Stewart, who hobbies train sets and has made an amazing cityscape for his trains was complete with skyscrapers. I saw a headline for it, but I didn't actually read the article. That's amazing. See, all these celebrities who have hobbies. These hobbies are healthy things to have, especially if you're probably like particularly famous. I imagine it might help keep you a little, maybe help keep you a little grounded. I have no idea. So, yeah, I've just been, well, I'm not gonna lie, I've been playing too much WoW. It owns my life right now. Okay, what I missed, did anyone remember to mention that in 1998, The Undertaker threw mankind off the Hell in a Cell into the Spanish announcer table? You know, it's funny, Siobhan, because I've probably heard it, 100 times since I've known you? For all the chats I've either been in or watched, or when you were at Valhalla. I don't know it by memory. I couldn't repeat it. So, there's that. Alright, just getting some of the details pulled out here. Seriously though, what else is everybody working? Damn it, Rockstar. Does anyone in the US Senate play Warhammer? No, you think their strategies would be significantly better if any of them played any war games? I'm just saying. I think they just watch daytime soaps. Skinny Signar Warjack player here. Even most of our heavy Warjacks skipped leg day. Hey Alexis, how you doing? I saw some of the stuff you were posting about the new Sisters army. The box set does look pretty impressive. So, I may have to see about picking up a copy. Actually playing Sisters. Being sad about having a mid-range army instead of shooting things from as far away as possible. Potentially on another table as Imperial Guard. But I don't know. I'll have to see what you think of them. I'll take your lead on it. Also, happy belated birthday. Your birthday was, I think, on the 9th, right? So. Alright, said I wasn't going to base code everything, so let's carve in some details. Sweet Dr. Plastic, welcome. I'm painting Tanith the Feral Song. Ah, yes. A wildling. Hey, Chris. Minnie's coming along? Relatively speaking, Minnie. Yes, she's a little chunky. Excuse me. Oof. Sorry, it's been a long day. I feel like I'm still, like, calming down from it. They showed even more releases on the community site today. Some of the future stuff looks even better. Yeah, they've really... I definitely appreciate the way they've gone in the aesthetic. The aesthetic for the Sisters of Battle is spot on. So, good on them. Hopefully they keep doing that. Dave, I think it's going to be expensive and very limited. They release a world map with time zones to pre-order because they think it'll sell out. Oh, yeah. Can I suggest McRibs for Valhalla next year? Well, remember, Riley already has like a permanent veto on every suggestion you make, so you're gonna have to clear it with her first. Okay. Khador symbols are brassy. Because I also, apparently I like playing the gaudy armies, and Warmachine, Sturf, well, that's gaudy. So I'm putting my nutmeg brown on the parts that I'm going to dry brush with the antique gold in order to get that nice brassy effect. And so we're just gonna let that get on there first. Just anywhere that I'm gonna put that sort of trim. So like up here is gonna be brassy as well on the gun itself. And I have a lot of it mostly, and I just have to kind of cut in some of the detail. It's pretty sloppy when I did this the first go around. There we go. All right, so Sisters is on the topic table tonight. How many of you guys are going to be getting into, I mean, one, do you own a Sisters army now? Not you, Alexis, I know you do. And are you going to pick up the box set? Because it's still, I mean, it's still going to be pretty expensive for those of you who are just picking it up as a fresh army, but not the worst. Because you get a decent amount out of, what was it, 210, I think is what you said, Alexis? I mean, I regard, don't know rightly or wrongly, that the Sisters are like a support army for other Imperial armies, just like, say, Custodes or Imperial Knights in competitive play. You don't own anything from 40K? Mm-hmm. Yes, that's 210, okay. Order of the Sacred Waifu. Yeah, I don't think the Sisters would have ever appreciated stuff like anime. I feel like that's just something they would not have watched. Maybe that's my own bias talking, because, you know, anime is terrible, but you can let me know. Okay, so that's red. What else do I want here to be red? Oh yeah, on the top, that would help. I'm sort of referring back to a picture, so don't mind me. Yeah, I would use them as support for the Imperial Guard, probably, as far as the Sisters go. It's been too long. Like, I was first interested in them because they had a really great aesthetic back in, like, the early 2000s, I guess, whenever I started. But then just the pragmatic part of myself who likes to play a certain way just definitely got along better with the Imperial Guard. Alright, what else can I make here? Norn Queen, would you ever consider painting a new Tyranids with contrast, or are you an old school technique painter for those? I'm waiting for Kill Team Annual, hopefully an all-in-one book. That would be nice. That would be nice, but we'll see. Okay, so this model, that's all the brown there. Yeah, I guess I can get this stuff on here. So here's one of the shield arms, because the big gun obviously is just that business here. So this is the shielding to help it survive. Not that terribly survivable on the tabletop, but nothing in Warmachine really is, so take it for what you will. But they've got really cool abilities, we'll say. Alexis, not a fan of the contrast paints. I just don't know, I haven't tried them. Like, they may well be fine. Paul, you tried them out a little bit. They're just another tool in the arsenal, as far as I can tell. Some people have probably over-credited them, and some have under. But at the end of the day, it's all painting. It's just using the tools you have available, or the tools that you seek out. Alright, so pretty well have that in there. So that's going to be, everything that's brown here will become, come on, will become gold. I'm currently painting Custodes. Gold! There you go. Gold. I was really happy to paint this miniature because he seemed very easy. I'm like, okay, you know, I know these colors. I think I'm gonna go with the brass on the smokestack here too, or the venting, whatever that would be. Which gold are you using? Oh, to Michael. A real one, probably. Like just actual gold leaf. I'm, of course, making that up. So yes, along with all of the sister battle, I'm going to take 2 seconds to tell you about World of Warcraft because it's been owning my life. I had a 3-day weekend and I'm pretty sure for about 24 hours of it I've played World of Warcraft. And player versus player dropped this week as far as, like, it was always available, but now you get honor, and I think officially honor counting starts tomorrow. And I'm on a server that's 60% the opposite faction, which of course are the evil horde, because they're evil. It's been so dangerous to run around in the world. It's been hilarious. So I'm running around collecting, like, everybody's running around collecting their best in slot for PvE, which for a warrior is dumb. I hate it. And I mean, there's perfectly good gear or whatever for dungeon stuff, but it's completely different when you're running around in a player versus player environment. You just need different stats. So I'm trying to collect that stuff as frantically as I can so that I can, well, do what I wanted to do when I started playing the game, which is to kill a horde. And possibly grind honor for it, I'm not sure. I'm debating if I want to do that or not again. Just wrapping up some 2nd edition ratlings. Oh my gosh. 90s space hobbits with sniper rifles. Oh, that's lovely. I love it. Bar this down a little bit. I have used contrast paints and blood angels, was happy with the result, but needed tweaks as expected. Yeah, and I think, Paul, you've got a pretty good handle on it. I don't think it's worth losing your mind over. Most things are not. So, there we go. I'm going to be mixing water in the cap of this because I'm so respectful of my paints. Stone Cold Killer, I'll keep an eye out on my horde. You're on Fairbanks, man. Okay, so I'm not a ganker. I do not condone that. I do feel like there's a certain degree of, like, honor among your faction. Horde don't seem to believe in that, mostly because they outnumber me on the server significantly, and I think that's generally made them into bullies. So, my absolute favorite thing to do is to find somebody who's already being attacked by Horde, and it's usually going to be a lobby, because it's just what I seem to run into like 100% of the time, and then I go murder the Horde, and then I've saved somebody and I feel all heroic and stuff. That's my favorite. So anyway, yes, that's been on my mind. So, but I've had to start my planning for 2020, and I'm excited. I think I need to put like a calendar or something on the Wargamergirl Facebook, because there's going to be a few conventions I'll be able to go to this year, and I think the earliest of them will be one called Indie Storm in Indianapolis I'm planning to go to, and then Genghis Khan in February and Adepticon in March, and we'll see what else is after that. That's as far as I've got planned. So I've got a really busy year, which means that I need to bone up a little bit on Warmachine and Kill Team and 40k and get my armies ready, because that's happening. And actually at Genghis Khan, I need to write that, but I'm going to be, what's the word? running an IKRPG event as well. So that's a bunch of cool stuff happening in the new year. And this is just me filling in gaps on the coverage there and kind of cutting back in the detail that I lost whenever I put the gold or the silver on. Many world endings. Words ending in con. Yeah, I know. It's just, it's how you know, I guess. I don't know if there's like a proper naming convention. Anybody going to LVO? I don't know yet. I really like LVO. I'd like to. When is it this next year? It's like, it's a different week. It's a different week than Genghis Khan. I can't remember though. February is going to be a bit of an odd month for me, but yeah, I want to see if I can go to more conventions. They're so fun. I kind of play more games there, so that's actually really nice. Like, do you guys ever feel it where you'll do your hobbying stuff, but you don't actually get to play a lot until you go to a specific event where that's what you're there to do, and so you can finally play the game that you're wanting to play. For whatever reason, it's just harder to do locally, or you don't find as much time during your normal schedule. It's really weird that I've gotten to that point, but I have. There we go. Cut that detail in too. Night, Ben. Thanks for coming by, man. January 25th. Huh. Is it that late? I think it is in January. All right, I'm gonna look it up. But yeah, LVO is a fun event. I definitely. It's one of the. It's nice because it's also one of the events on like my side of the country. Because they're kind of hard to come by. A lot of stuff happens East Coast, and I guess there's California, but. California, it's way over there. I'm going to check on that. Let me see when LVO is this year. January 24th through the 26th. Ooh. Well, those will be interesting days. I don't ever play, just paint. Well, that's fair. So that's what you're into. That's good. And painting is something you can do solo, unlike playing usually. I don't use any Citadel GW paints right now. Okay. I made a different color scheme for the Space Wolves because I hate the blue-gray color. So it's gold and they're closer just going to be purple, like dark purple. Oh, interesting. That will be a very strong color mix. Hey, I only do events to deadline my painting projects. Yeah. I have yet to participate in anything like that, but yes. I think Juan Hidalgo on YouTube changes his GW paint for Space Marines to be more blue, Fenrisian gray, or whatever it's called. Interesting. Haven't been to a gaming convention since AndCon in Toledo, Ohio in like 1998. Oh wow, really? Well, if you enjoyed it or you want to do a convention again, I mean, there's some really good ones. I'd still say Adepticon's probably like the mecca, the big one, just because it's the largest of them in the United States, and then it also always get the underside of your model. And there's a lot of gaming options. So I've found Adepticon to be always a super fun one. And then you're in Chicago, and there's really cool stuff in Chicago too. Got to check out the Museum of Science and Industry when I was there. My friend Erin, as a birthday present, took us there, and got to check out a bunch of cool, awesome stuff. I got to be in the German U-boat that was captured, where they found the cipher to, I think, make the Enigma machine. So that was an amazing experience. And so your gaming convention, the largest one, a bunch of options there, and then you stay later and can check out the local stuff as well. It's all very much worth it. And then of course LVO, it's in Las Vegas, so you know, if that's your jam, then that's also quite a lot of fun. I'm not a gambler, so it doesn't mean as much to me. I'm also not a drinker, so it really doesn't mean much to me. Those are both really good ones. Really, any convention they do in a major city where there's going to be something else to look at after is probably a really smart idea. Okay. Ohio kid. Okay, nice. Origins is nearby in Columbus. Okay. I would love to play. I also enjoy making terrain. Do you get into any of the 3D printing stuff, Michael? That's been sort of a new renaissance for a lot of terrain builders, and it's pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Let's get some metal on there. Ooh. So we are going to make this steel, which pretty well matches what's going on in the picture for the model. So I'm just going to copy that basically. All right. What's happening in the chat? You need to try Privateer Press stuff. I have some Legion of Everblight, but GW release schedules make it hard to venture too far from the pack. Yeah, I don't know. I think Privateer's trying to work on improving their release schedule, but that's been an ongoing problem for years. At the end of the day, you just kind of have to probably pick which war game you're going to be active in at a time. And you know, nothing wrong with bouncing around, but keeping up with two different types of games with release schedules, that is a little harder. Okay, so we're going to make those metal. I think I'm finally starting to calm down. It wasn't even like today was particularly bad. It was just tiring. Came home and took a nap before I could even like work on any of the chat stuff for tonight. No freaking energy. No gambling, no drinks, just painting. I mean, that doesn't sound like a bad thing to me, but you know, everybody's a little different. Put on a good podcast, enjoy some painting, or painting socially, you know, kind of like what we're doing now. That's actually really pleasant. Hanging out with peeps, doing a similar task, discussing techniques. Me just painting by numbers, but you know, whatever. Painting these little points. I think it would go easier. There we go. And now we've got our metal color. And basically once the gold is on there, we'll blackwash the whole thing, and well, I'll paint more red in here. I feel a little guilty, like I'm being super chintzy about that. You're not gonna see most of that, but it is what it is. Oof. I find painting to be more resetting than WoW or games. Just destroy my concept of time more than anything. Kenton, you're absolutely right. Playing WoW is a huge time sink, enormous one. It's been very fun and very social for me, but I agree with you. Like, painting is just, you can do it quietly or again with friends and chatting. You have this physical piece done. When you finish, almost, like, I guess it almost feels like a little bit more of a long-term reward. I know what you mean. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna be playing WoW after this because I'm a nutcase. But, like, I really enjoy being able to hang out and chill out. And also sort of remind, like, since it's more quiet and it's a little more focused, you can think of other things that you're, you know, in the wargaming mindset. Like, oh yeah, did I check out these new releases? Or a new codex or rule set has come out on this. Or, oh, there was something in the news on these models. Let me go check that out. And so it also just puts you in a different headspace. Painting and gaming, yes. Does anyone use a wet palette? I have a hard time using one. I do, it's super useful, especially if you're mixing colors, blending, or making your paints last. Good old, yes, my folk art. So I'm a get her done sort of painter. I love having painted models, and I'm all about playing it painted. And I don't really have the highest, you know, care really for how you get there. And honestly, for 99% of my models being painted with craft paint, I think they look freaking good. So it's not what you have, it's how you use it. So. And will I eventually change them out? Probably. But this is what I have in front of me now, which means this is how the model gets painted, because it's more important to me to have a painted model than to have the, you know, some high-end brand of paint. That and blackwash sort of covers everything anyway and makes whatever you painted underneath it look amazing, so that's sort of how you cheat. Although, whenever I was at Valhalla and we had Jason from Creature Caster, who's a super, super cool guy, he was showing me about turning the paints that they have, because they're all, like, he knows a lot about paint mixing and getting the pigments ground and making them compatible with different colors and such, like within their own line. And he was showing me cool glazings you can do that. To me, I'm like, oh shoot, even I can do that. That's pretty cool. So, good on. Alright. Ta-da! 2 arms painted. Yay. Playing unpainted is simply unacceptable. I mean, it is what it is. If you're a brand new player and you're like, hey, this is all I've got, I don't have anything painted, like, that's fine. Just is what it is. It's just, you know, if you've been playing a while and then, or you're one of those types, and, you know, it's just a personality type, but where you're like, whatever, I don't even care about painting. That's just not important to me. I'll just put out barely assembled models. It's like, well, what's the point? Like, why don't just go play a video game if all you care about are just these very non-aesthetic things. So. I have a wet palette, the trick is to tuck the baking parchment paper under the sponge. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've done the palette. I don't know what you're talking about. So fun being around others who understand my lifelong hobby. Indeed. Play more Warhammer Kill Team. Love the video with you and Uncle Adam. I'm really glad. I'm glad you like that. Yes, I enjoy Kill Team. I actually had a lot of fun. That game was interesting to record because you can tell like it gets darker and darker throughout the evening. But yes, I do want to do more Kill Teams. Just a matter. And there's a local group here, and they're super nice guys too and stuff. So it's just a matter of getting a game set up, making sure they've painted their stuff because that's always a factor, and scheduling it and recording it. And then, you know, the real work sort of begins after that. After that point. Just bring a legal list. Oh, okay. Well, you'll get what I put out there, I guess. I mean, I'll do my best. Yeah, we'll get some more in there. All right. I always use my wet palette. It helps me get better control of the paint on my brush and extends the useful... Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to extend the time on paints and all that. Probably applies more to more expensive paint because my craft paints kind of don't care. I mean, they probably do, but I can't tell. Just slather on that beautiful paint, all that thick, poorly ground pigment. Beautiful. Bing. I regret that stance on unpainted now. I swear I'm not an elitist. No, you're fine. It's like there's the standard you hold yourself to, but it's not necessarily the standard you hold others to because you know that's probably unfair and you just like to think that you hold yourself to a higher standard. That's fine. I'm assuming that's what you meant. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt there, man. I don't think you're being a jerk. It's just probably just an important thing to point out for people who are newer to the hobby, because you don't want to come off looking like a jerk, of course, to new players. You always need more of them. You never know when your game's gonna fall out of favor and start dying. So these are good things. I must be an elitist. I prefer Citadel paints. Cool. I use folk art also. Oh, well good, Aaron. You and I are buddies then. So here's this one little thing. There's only one. I don't know. Need to get this painted. But it's not really high priority, so it'll go there for now. Okay, what have we got here? So metal and metal. Okay, that's feet. That can be metal there. Where else do I want to put some trim? I'm just staring at models, looking up. Never scare away new painters. Yes. Yeah, I know what you mean, Michael. Ooh. Fighting a bit of a headache today. Alrighty. So, anyway. Trying to think of what else. I feel like I've only been very modestly excited about any of the new GW releases, but I guess I kind of have the stuff that I want for the most part on the Imperial Guard. And it's like, oh, well, the sisters are out. But it feels like we've waited so long for them that it's hard to be excited about an army that everybody's sort of proxied with other models at this point. So, we will see. I look forward to seeing what other people do with them. It's all red. Black in there. Black. Alright, so these little pistons on the feet here, we're gonna make those metal. Excuse me. Hello from Orc Boy. Hi, dude boy, orc boy. It's fun to have a painted army and an FLG, even if others don't. It helps me live out my headcanon. Also, many Magic players have joined the dark side at my store due to a couple paint jobs. I think that's the biggest factor that gets people like to go over to the table and check out a game at all. Just true on, and you know, as far as I can tell from being in game stores, if you're wandering around looking at what people are playing, the people who are playing on these awesome looking dioramas, that draws my eye. Versus like some weird unpainted white metal figures. Boring. Boring and unimaginative. And it sucks because there's a lot of beautiful work that goes into the sculpting and you'll never be able to realize it because it just looks like a silver blob. Oh, that's right. Paul, you taught someone how to play Kill Team at the store tonight. They were a Warcry, or I guess they are a Warcry player. Not saying you took them away from that necessarily, but maybe. People still doing the Warcry thing? Is that still all the rage? Hey, with your orcs, you paint small fleshy highlights. My friend Jason, okay, from Slowfuse says you're awesome. Aw, I am awesome. He's so right. He's good. Don't give yourself eye strain. I'm fine. Appreciate it though. I'm smashing faces with a rogue idol now. It's pretty fun flying him across the board 20 inches, sometimes 30 inches. Good night. For me, it was the terrain. I love building tables. That's why I do homebrew terrain. LOL, give me some cardboard and a few bottles and hot glue, and I can build Necromunda for days. Wow, good on you, man. The Infinity meta here, the Infinity community, especially the ones that come together for Rumble on Route 66, doing a freaking phenomenal job. Like 70 plus tables that are exquisitely detailed. It's incredible. I'll wait for Sisters Kill Team rules, then I'll see. Yeah, no kidding. Did I mention before that my local GW store was fast and loose? I walked in one day and there was an empty beer can right next to the Sector and Paler Alice scenery on the table. Wow, that's surprising. Stop and Miranda, unpainted minis on the table? Oh, the horror. Well, at least get your base coats on, you know? I always say people who marvel at my paint jobs, the person who sculpted what I'm painting, that's the greater skill. I mean, it's just different techniques. I mean, the person who sculpted obviously has put an enormous amount of work, and there's amazing talent there. I don't know that painting is quite the same thing, but you can do some really amazing stuff with it too. So, okay, Warcry is still popular. Night all. I must go to college. Wait, it's tomorrow. Night, Robert. Thanks for hanging out. It's due for more monster content already. Didn't Warcry just come out? My favorite GW sculpt is probably Lucius the Eternal. Jesse, hello. Appreciate all the emojis. Yeah, he was a Warcraft player, but I was running Berserkers. It's still familiar hand to hand, so he was a fan. Nice. Someday I want to build a Dark Eldar table with skimmers and criminals running around with sensors to turn on streetlights and avoid collisions. Oh my goodness. I love me some Warcry. Infinity is something I've always wanted to get into, but no one around here plays it. Ah yes, the other challenge that a miniature game faces. Do the locals play? Can you establish a meta? And that is not easy to do. Do any of you guys remember Wrath of Kings? I had a bunch of minis that Simon provided to me. And I was like, alright, let's play this game. People, here's free miniatures to play this game. Oh, nope, hello? Anybody? Yeah. Yeah, it's rough. Probably not the most amazing saleswoman either. Like, hey, you want to try this out? No? Okay. Your loss. I did enjoy Wrath of Kings. I thought that was a good system. This is actually one of my favorite parts, is painting in all the little details. Ooh. Anyone remember Chronopia minis? Ish. I've only known it because I know other people have talked about it. I never played it. There we go. There's also another warband coming to Warcry, the Spire Tyrants. Huh. Painting Cater? This is classic Miranda. I know. I've got so much Cater. I need to paint it, and after Valhalla, I kind of really missed it. It's funny, the things that make you get all soft. Same thing with Malifaux. I wanted to get into that. The models look great and the lore seems pretty awesome, but it's like, anyone want to play? Crickets? Come on. The models, still nothing. Yep. Yeah, you've got to, like, there's a magic. The person who really created the Infinity meta here had a lot of energy. Guillermo, he was a beast and jump-started that meta, kept it flaming hot, like dozens of people playing locally. It's very impressive. Hats off to him. He definitely made it work. What game would you recommend to someone looking for something other than 40K to get into? Well, it's a bit of an open question, because if they're looking for something other than 40K, are they looking for something that's the scale of 40K, the aesthetic of 40K, something like off but cheaper to get into? Like, the motivation matters here. I bought the remade Necromunda as I loved the 90s version. I couldn't get a game of it. Oh. I make homebrew Warcry cards, and I've added 5 new warbands and a bunch of new beasts and a few new monsters. My goodness! There's also the rise and fall of Guild Ball. Oh my gosh, dude, I remember that. I remember when it launched at Adepticon, what, 2015, 16? It was a while ago now. I don't even remember which year. But yeah, I remember, like, people were going nuts over it. Ton of Warmachine players got super, super into it because it was exactly the rule set they wanted. I kind of thought it was still going, though. I didn't know that it had kind of fallen out of favor. Went from 15 players at Attorney 2 in January to 4 in March. Oh my goodness. Well, there's that. I wonder if it was just like the fun new thing to try. I don't know. Is Frostgrave still pretty popular? I know that had a really big splash as well in the community. But if you think about it, like, I don't know how much lore is really associated with Guild Ball. I don't know that, like, there's people who are like, okay, I'm done playing for a while. I'm just going to sit back and read some lore because that's what you can do with 40k. You can do it with Warmachine, it's just the player base typically hasn't. But it's there, and that's sort of a big factor. What is it, the 3 elements of a war game? Like the game itself, the models, and then the lore to keep you in it. The fall of Guild Ball? I knew it was kind of a niche game, but what happened? I don't know. The Necromunda community is growing. Well, that's probably after they re-released it, right? It feels like there's too many games to keep up with anymore. That's been my problem. Turn around, I'm like, oh. Well, I mean, kind of people thought that Shadow War Armageddon was like them bringing back Necromunda. And then they're like, no, here's Necromunda too. I'm like, oh, okay. So, that is what it is. And Shadow War Armageddon, that sort of really fell out of favor. Now it's all Kill Team. And I understand that one a little more, because Shadow War Armageddon was not an easy game to set up, whereas Kill Team is easy to set up and start. Like, if you have any sort of terrain and stuff, you can reasonably get a go at a game. Shadow War Armageddon felt like it just had a never-ending requirement of terrain. Needs an enthusiastic moderator to organize a campaign. Fair enough. Haven't seen Frostgrave / Warmachine / Hordes where I live. Yeah. And that's always going to be just location dependent. Like my friend in Alberta, Dan, and even other people in Alberta, I think the Warmachine meta is still quite strong over there. So. Apparently in Canada, Warmachine is Canada's GW, or 40k. I mentioned the other week that one of my local FLGs shut down. Well, immediately, a bigger FLGS store opened, bought it up and are opening on Black Wednesday. Yay, Blood Bowl and Warhammer 40k tournaments locally. Wow, well, that's a positive thing. That's cool. I think getting people involved in Necromunda requires someone who has the stuff and will host events. It's not really a one and done game, so it requires more of a commitment, which I don't think people are opposed to. When people were going nuts over Frostgrave, that's a campaign-based game, and it fits more of it's more in line for people who really enjoyed Mordheim. So, I think getting people involved in Necromunda. Oh yeah. I'm currently trying to get one going. I've gotten some people interested. There you go. There are too many games to keep up with. Between Warhammer 40k, Age of Sigmar, Kill Team, and Warhammer Hordes, there's just not enough time to play all the games I want to. Not to mention affording all those models. San Antonio is dominated by 40k, AOS, Kill Team, and Warcry. Now, AOS I'm starting to see a little bit more of. It doesn't really happen at the game store right next to me, but other ones it does. Did you ever try Riot Quest? I haven't. I'm like, I'm happy with Warmachine. I'll just go play that some more. Riot Quest, I don't know, man. Like, it's an arena game, and I have mixed feelings on arena games. Like, I really liked Aristea. That was fun. But part of it for me was like, well, I really want to like Infinity. I can't quite get into these rules. And so this feels like a good sort of part way into the Infinity world. And the arena game, it's a board game, you know, you're playing it that way. Riot Quest feels like, you know, more of that, and if I'm already doing it as another game, I don't know that I'm so thrilled. I don't know, maybe it's fine. But I honestly couldn't speak to Riot Quest. So maybe it's cool and amazing, and I just don't know. But as far as the skirmish games, I still feel a little burned that they didn't do more with Company of Iron. That was a good one. Or it had the potential to be really good. No mortal can play all of Warcry, Kill Team, Warhammer 40k, AOS, Black Fortress, Necromunda, etc. Yeah, when I was getting my friends into tabletop, I started with Shadow War and had to simplify the rules, but then Kill Team happened and I switched them to that. Kill Team's a lot easier to get into, and it's kind of funnier. I'm lucky to live in an area where lots of gamers reside. Dayton, Ohio. It's cool to be a gamer here. Lots of game shops. We even have a GW store. 40k is the most popular in these parts. I can see that. And then you're on the, you're in the Midwest technically, and I know that. I think Warmachine's pretty popular out that way as well. I haven't even touched Necromunda yet. Can't commit to a campaign game when I'm already stretched between the other games I play. On the plus side, I recently discovered Drop Fleet Commander, and that game is both beautiful and awesome. It is a really cool game. Seems like it's got a lot going for it. That scale's pretty tiny though. I do really like the Cadoran Overlord boats, equal part airship and military fishing trawler. Weird but cool. Huh, okay. My local gaming store, Battlegrounds Cafe, is hosting a Horde Warmachine game where 3 pro players will play Infernals versus 16 amateur players. Oh, interesting. Huge game. Well, that sounds like a creative approach to it. You can tell they're trying to do that more now with the, Infernal rules, the Oblivion rule set. Like, they've totally changed theme forces, and they're like, hey, you can do this now, and do this now, and I was like, oh gosh, more rules. But a lot of people seem happy with it. I love AOS. I play the Angry Tree Ladies and haven't had as much fun in a long time. Really? That's the, are those what else technically, or what would they be? Well, I guess I'm still thinking of old fantasy, and everything's so dead in that, I guess, but. Hey, orcs have checkered patterns. On eBay, I bought a checkered stencil for painting. It said pattern on ladies' nails. Oh, and it works great on the minis with my airbrush. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I bet that works great. As a young gamer, I had to drive an hour to get a decent gaming shop also. Yeah, where I live now, I'm very, very spoiled, and I'm in walking distance. All right, let's get some dry brushing done. Sylvaneth, okay. They're the tree ant side of what was Wood Elves. Gotcha. Man, AOS minis, talk about intimidating. Jeez, every time I see one, I'm like, ha. I feel like I could, and they're more hardy than this, obviously, but to me, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm gonna drop something on this and it's gonna shatter into a million pieces. So, it scares me. And especially since I'm a fan of the Night Haunt, so you're like, oh, here's the Lady Oleander. Her entire model is attached to her base on this little flimsy tiny bit of fabric, and you're like, oh no. I like my chunky models. They survive me. I have been window shopping airbrushes to mainly prime and base coat. I think that's where a lot of people start. It seems like it makes a lot of good sense too. Whew. An hour in, huh? Okay. Not doing too bad then. Let's get some dry brushing in here of my gold. funny because I swear I can see a fingerprint on this one on the model on the top of the gun. I wonder if that's mine from the primer. So we're just sort of getting that fairly casually in there. It's all going to be black wash, so it's going to diminish it a bit, and then we can bring it back up. So it's a bit of a two-stepper. Don't want to go too much with it, which is easy. I do like to overdo it. So that's kind of, here we go. And so it seems kind of sploochy, but that's fine. It's actually just fine. My local store was hit by a tornado in September. It's yet to reopen. Oh no. It's horrible. This is the first time I live in the same country as a GW store. Oh wow. A guy in my gaming group moved to Minnesota and his Nagash was a casualty. Ugh! Oh no! It's true by some AOS models knowing which parts will have to pin later. Oh yeah, there you go. They were in a strip mall that got decimated. The Warhammer store was actually lucky and didn't get too messed with, only the front windows knocked out. Where was that? Were you in like Oklahoma or something? It wasn't Games HQ, was it? Lady Olander is actually surprisingly robust for what looks like a flimsy model. With some simple conversions, you can make her much more robust. Michael, you're an excellent host and an excellent painter. Well, I wouldn't go that far with excellent painter, but thank you, Michael. I appreciate the kind words. You'll probably stuff your first one, so I just suggest starting with a cheapo. Most people use dual action. Sometimes you'll find no-name brand ones in auto stores. That's true. But they have to fix the whole building before they can reopen. Oh, in Sioux Falls. Jeez. Wow. I bought that nail stencil off eBay. Came from Blackpool to Spain. Nice. Yeah, you always have to run the risk, like Paul's saying, you always have to run the risk of travel damage. My little Grimkin death knell was a bit of a casualty when I took it to Valhalla. Oh, that's way too big a brush. One of those smaller. That's the one I've been using. Yeah, so it's just, yeah, it's an unfortunate thing to always have as a risk, and it's scary because it's a lot of your time, your time, your money poured into this model, and then you just see something crack. At least if it breaks on a contact point, like you can just re-glue it. That's not the end of the world. I'll try a different brush here, but it still is unpleasant to say the least. What am I doing? Michael, that's how I started. I bought Chinese ones off eBay for about $15. Broke a few of them, but now I have a nice Iwata one. Oh, okay. Looking good, just popped in. I'm unfamiliar with what you're painting. This is a Warmachine model. It's the Kadoran Man-O-War Tank Striker, or Strike Tanker. I don't know why I want to constantly invert those words. So basically, he's red and gold, and then metal is metal, and then it's all going to get blackwashed. So it's slowly coming together. I'm trying to get some of these details in and frustrating myself with my choice of dry brush options here. But yeah, we were just having horrifying stories about poor game stores that got to be the casualty of tornado activity. So for a few years, and I did not enjoy the experience, but I did live in Oklahoma for a few years. And I sort of found out later, because I got more into Warmachine when I got here, into Albuquerque, but there's a really decent wargaming meta out there. More than just 40k. Like they're super into Flames of War, which I never I wasn't really attracted to at the time. And then also Warmachine. So we're just, again, getting that brassy color on. So here you can see that it's more, well, focuses. It's more brassy now instead of just shiny, shiny gold. And so like up here, that's still regular brown. So we're gonna take that, we're gonna dry brush over the top of that. See if we can't get that brassy color to come out. It's weird because it feels like you're barely putting any paint on whatsoever. But now, it's sort of on there. Sorry to hear that. We had a small strip mall totally destroyed by a tornado a few years ago. Oof. Vallejo liquid gold. I mean, close. Close. Not quite. Why are there so many tornadoes in the US? I've never heard of any in Europe. Well, the US is gigantic, so we have to start there. And you don't see them on the coast and you don't see them in mountain areas. Like, we don't get tornadoes in Albuquerque because Albuquerque's in a valley. In fact, largely we're both rain shadow and weatherproof in general. But if you're out on the wide open plains, and you know, comparatively, Europe has been built up because for the relative size, you have so many people in a small area. We have miles and miles, hundreds of miles of just perfectly flat plains terrain. And so that allows for tornadoes, allows for the wind to create that cyclone. We still have our local FLGS, but I liked the Warhammer store just because they had painted terrain. It was much cleaner. I can see that. Dave, it's hot air flowing up from the Gulf Stream mixes with cold air coming from the north that blends and sparks storms. It's a really specific area, like a belt through the Midwest. They have a name for it. Tornado Alley. Good looking model, must resist impulse buy. Yeah, he's a cool one. But, you know, he's a solo piece to go with the whole rest of the army. But the whole army can be these awesome big dudes in robot suits or semi-sentient robots, which is part of what I love about it. I like the dark brass as my base coat for gold. Yeah, and you're probably going with something a little shinier on top. Is there no way to stop tornadoes with a bomb or something? So it's funny to see exactly how vulnerable we as people are when it comes to massive weather events. I mean, we can't stop hurricanes, which arguably would be a little bit more valuable because at least most of the time when a tornado hits, it's not generally destroying a lot of stuff, and they're easy to outrun, and like you can get away from them even though they're gonna tear up your house. Maybe they're also super peculiar and sometimes don't do any damage and sometimes do massive amounts of damage, whereas hurricanes are pretty consistently super damaging. But we can't do anything about them either. It's a humongous weather event. What do you hope to do necessarily? A bomb. I guess. Let's make it worse. I love the logic, though. Feels very Cadoran. Alright, so gold there, gold there, gold up here, a little bit more maybe. Chris Bella. Oh. What does this guy know? I don't trust what you have to say, Chris. Geoengineering. That looked familiar. Oh, no, you're fine. have you painted that dragon from the Wood Elves? Oh, in Hurricane Harvey, I lost my Warhammer stuff. Big army of Dark Eldar, some old school Warhammer fantasy stuff. I mean, the house and everything else, but man, who cares about that stuff? Priorities. Well, buying a house takes, what, a month? Painting an entire Warhammer army? That's some dedication. Yes, Paul, you did a good job packing that. And that was after Customs looked at it. Bombing a weather pattern doesn't disperse the wind, it just makes it radioactive. I don't know, I think it could work. That's right, Ken, you know whatever. I've seen Geostorm. Don't try and mess with the weather, Gerard Butler says so. Oh my gosh. So apparently weather disaster movies, like nature disaster movies, are some of the most popular movies you can make on the planet right now. They're extremely universal and sell well in the international market. Like there's an obsession with the idea of Earth trying to kill humanity. I mean, it's not exactly a new concept, but it's sort of funny. Makes me laugh. I don't think I saw Geostorm though. I don't think I could quite bring myself to do that one. Getting some lovely dry brush on here. On my paper towel technique. It's okay, you can all be jealous. Day After Tomorrow. Can never feel warm after watching that one. Oh my gosh, yes. I remember. I did see that one. Gosh, that had Tom Cruise in it, didn't it? It's a ridiculous movie. But you know, I'm gonna go a little more old school on it, because back when I was actually watching those movies, it was like, Dante's Peak and Twister. Remember those lovely gems? It was kind of in the earlier part of that kind of genre too. Good times. You would think that the US would have invented something to dissipate a tornado. It's targetable and you would understand its dynamics. In Minnesota, we don't get many tornadoes, but negative 30-degree weather, snow in October, on the other hand, yeah. Painting a whole army does take time and dedication. For sure, sister. That's right, man. I know what you're talking about. I know what's up. That does suck, losing the house and stuff. I've always been of divided mind about it, because I did have a house in Oklahoma for a while, and I moved here, put it up for sale, and it took for freaking ever to sell. And so every time tornado season came up, I was like, okay, tornado, if you're gonna head toward my house, just make sure to destroy it completely, not just a little bit, because I need the insurance to pay it out. I would have made a profit. So of course it never happened. Let's make sure to get these signs a little bit. It's probably not too big a deal, but whatever. Be thorough. All right, I'm getting there. You know the film Day After Tomorrow where everything freezes? My cinema cranked up the AC at the cold part. It was awesomely immersive. Wow, that's surprising. So I found that the silver you are using is a bit thin and doesn't coat well. I added a bit of black to it and it thickens it up nicely. Give it a try and see how it dry brushes. Huh, that's interesting. I use paper towels and dry brushing also. Yeah, there we go. Well, we do live on the thin crust of a red-hot molten ball of material that's spinning around a giant nuclear furnace called the sun, all within a vacuum with no air called space. At an ever-accelerating rate, mind you. Yeah. Exactly. We don't live in a safe world. Dude, Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones. Twister was a great movie. There you go. I love both of those films. I mean, I don't know that I'm like saying they're amazing bits of cinema, but there's something about them, you know. There's a certain bit of something. It's Warmachine here. I thought everyone on YouTube abandoned it. Not yet. Not yet. Don't do that gold. It messes it up. It's fine. Have we learned nothing from Sharknado? See, and Sharknado, I haven't seen it, so, you know, bear with me. But it does not look interesting at all. If, like, I like the films that if they're going to be bad, they're sort of, like they were maybe trying to make a decent movie first, and then it ended up, like, there's a certain magic to a movie that is ridiculous, but maybe they don't realize it. I mean, not to pick on him, he's one of my favorite filmmakers. Whatever, he's fine. All Neil Breen movies are like some of my most favorite things to watch anymore, because it's like watching an alien try to make a movie about people, and they've only ever like maybe seen some daytime soap operas, but they really like magic. I don't know, it's fascinating. So fascinating. So Sharknado feels a little bit too like trying to be in on the joke with you. And they're like, I don't want you to be in on the joke with me. I just want to know it's funny. I don't know if that actually makes any sense, but yeah. Tremors is the scariest disaster movie I've ever watched. Tremors is amazing. Tremors is a great film. Such a phenomenal, super fun to watch, well put together, great character development type of story. Tremors is actually probably one of my top movies because it knows what it is. All of the characters have logical reasons for doing the things they're doing. They don't act like weirdo, crazy people, or where everybody acts bizarrely the same because the writer didn't flesh anything out, or you know, maybe they did, but it got changed later, or whatever the hell happens in Hollywood. But yeah, Tremors is great. I love that they're actually able to take out a tremor, or, you know, a graboid. It's just, it takes so much work. It's just brilliant. So well done. When worlds collide, oh Lord. After The Ring, I woke up to the TV on static at 3 a.m. Still can't explain that one, but I am still alive. That you know of. Well, I'm off to do my painting. Have fun. May your bristles never fall out. Stay safe. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate you coming by. Have a good night. Haven't you heard? The earth is flat. Oh my gosh. What are some of the logic? I don't know. Whatever. That was like a troll thing. I think people have really gone with that. Pretty sure no more than 40 people on Earth actually believe that. The Room. So The Room is an interesting one, right? Because it's terrible. I mean, yes, it's a weird movie that doesn't make a lot of sense and is not well told. But I think it's like an oddly genuine story. Like, I do think Tommy Wiseau is specifically telling a story about himself. And yes, tons and tons of indie filmmakers do this, but, you know, I think it was like an oddly honest film. He doesn't know any better. And so it's almost like, I feel bad making fun of that one in a weird way. Now for my my liquid talent right here. Greetings from Cleveland. Hey, Dark Shades, how you doing? Yeah, I think Sharknado was meant to be serious. So it was funny because it was also terrible. Like that movie, The Room. That's like a big meme. Right, I forgot you were going to paint tonight. I could have been painting all along. Oh, it's okay, Eric. Next week. I need to get better about putting the advertisements out. It's always funky because like I go to the movies on Tuesday nights and then I get home late, and it's always like a rush to get this sorted out, set up before I have to go to work in the morning. Then I have like an hour to get ready when I get home, and everything's in a hurry. So Oh, hi, Mark. I mean, it's a funny movie. I'm not saying it's not. Tommy Wiseau scripted it so that he could be revealed as a vampire at the end of the room, but it never made the final cut. He cut the movie, didn't he? Well, I mean, it was a director's cut movie, I should say. Okay, time for some blackwash. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Load up that brush and just go with it. Alright, once you start the blackwash, you must not stop the blackwash, lest you get weird lines that make you unhappy. I'm very much a sloppy blackwasher, I guess. But I like what it does with the red specifically. I love what it does to the gunmetal. And you're right, it is on the thinner side for coverage. I'm usually covering such small areas with it that it's not a big deal. But I do agree with your observation of it. Alright. Get this on the back side. We're going to have to do half and half here because there's no way I'm going to be able to get the arm that I'm holding. This up here with some regular water. Doesn't need to be that dirty on the very top. That would probably naturally stay a touch cleaner. So you can see the difference between the black washed version and the non-black washed version, which is dramatic. Very dramatic. I did an experiment today using golden light molding medium as base texture paint. Came out pretty well. Nice. Just painting some Hot Wheels for Gaslands. Oh, nice. It seems like a fun game. Did you know anyone who knew Harvey Pecker in Cleveland? It was a non-oil, what was once called Armor Wash? Maybe. By the time I was using it, it was called Null Oil. So that's how I know it. Anyway, quite the difference. Why'd you go with the black wash rather than brown? Oh no, I want black sootiness in my model. This is the Iron Kingdoms. Like, black soot is very much what I've got on my army. That is the army. Like, what is it? The army, the consistent thing I have connecting all of my models to each other is that. That's a thing. So, that ain't changing. Brown wash is going to be for other stuff when you want more of a traditional army grittiness. And brown is fine if you're wanting more of a rust. But this is like oily. Null oil specifically. Like, I want the oily look to match the gritty, sooty Iron Kingdoms. Steam engines, coal, and the in the world of Khador specifically, like, that's a huge part of their industry. In fact, the story behind one of the models, the Colossal that came out, the Conquest, was that the development of that had actually caused several of the local populace to freeze to death over the winter months because they needed so much coal for the production of that jack. So it definitely is more into the sooty, grimy aesthetic. So basically the reason for it is because these guys are constantly around smokestacks and coal and stuff all day. Like the machines run on coal. So that's why that's that way. Beautiful. And I just love a good black wash. It's so nice. Yeah, that's good. Grunge robots, essentially. They're just grimy. It's just the way they are. Just like Gnome. You know what's up. Close the lid with one hand, but I can't reopen it with one hand. Okay, now onto the main guy. Now to make him nice and sooty. You get to be sooty, guy! Yay! Do I have everything in here the way I want? No, I don't. We love Gnome. I mean, okay, so it's the first wash I ever used, but a right tool for the right job, you know. It's very important to make sure that you're going with the aesthetic you want. So, for what it's worth, that is more the reason. Take a nice small brush with a big dollop of paint on it, and ever so lightly dab over the rivets. Because I've noticed, with appropriate pressure application, that if you have a bunch of paint on the edge of a brush, one, it won't dry out on you so fast, and you're just going over the very top of a rivet. So you kind of get a perfect coverage, a coat on it, without having to do any more than a dollop. And now you've got these pretty rivets showing up. They're so pretty. The soot oil angle makes perfect sense. I was thinking just a shading. Oh no, this is making them dirty. In Gnome we trust. Does Khador also have a steam tank? They have a gun carriage, which is currently pulled by horses. However, there is going to be a modification I make to mine, which I will make available to anybody else interested, that will allow it to be a tracked vehicle, unofficially, and operate that way. Because I saw Warhorse and I just couldn't bear the idea of horses having to pull that machine around. Now they've got like the chariots out, so they've really indulged in that part of it. I'm like, dang it. That was sloppy. So many little rivets. I actually really enjoy doing the rivet part, but it is time consuming. It's easy to miss one too. And you're like, whoops. Now I've got this asymmetrical dude. But I want to get the rivets on before black wash. I love the Khador shield guns. What? I switch shades depending on the army. Black for my Ultramarines, but Agrax for my Blood Angels. It's both effect and a bit color theory. Oh, nice. The bigger the gob, the better the job. They haven't invented a steam-powered car wash yet. You know, they're still at war, so these are the luxuries the Iron Kingdoms can't currently afford. Maybe someday. I feel like Caspia would have invented something like that already. The Khadoran people are entirely too pragmatic. It's like Tsarist Russia. Right there on his little head. Trying to get him. This man has a lot of rivets. Today I noticed there are My Little Pony miniatures from WizKids, so my 8-year-old stocking stuffers are taken care of. Oh my gosh, I still don't understand why that show came back with such a fervor. I mean, I saw the original one. I have the cartoon movie, I want to say, with the evil cat lady, Katrina, trying to take all the color out of the world. Oh wait, maybe I'm thinking of Rainbow Bright. I don't know. A lot of that stuff runs together. No cartoon I want to see come back. Earthworm Jim. Oh my gosh, did I mention there's a lot of rivets on this thing? Oh gosh, there's so many. Every time I look, I'm like, oh no, there's more. Anyway, big glob painting. It's actually not bad, as long as you kind of keep your hand reasonably steady. And if you gob and make a mess, you just sort of plaster it over with your base coat again and redo it, because it's a daub, you know. Apparently I'm going to have to do it a couple times, because I am not being very careful. You're just seeing my hand, sorry. Lots and lots of rivets. It makes the detail stand out, and suddenly it looks so much better painted. The revival is pretty far removed from the old ones. Brahmies? You mean bronies? Just got back from watching Joker. What I missed? Whoa, did you like it? Just tried to rinse my brush in the cup of goldfish crackers that I was munching on. Uh-oh. It's non-toxic paint, probably. What could go wrong? Alright, back to dub. This is an oddly peaceful thing. Oh no, I've got 20 minutes. I think I have time to finish the riveting though, and also getting the black wash on, so other than finishing the base, this guy kind of should be pretty well done. Should be good, because I have a suppression tanker that Warbudgies sent me, or gave me actually at 1 year at Valhalla, beautifully painted, so he can have a buddy now. And then I've also got another suppression tanker, which I'm very excited for. So running a few of these seems mean, honestly. Like, it seems like a really great way to handle infantry. The only thing that sucks is the lack of Pathfinder in the list, so I need to figure out how to fix that. Because I was running with Sorsha 3, and she does not give them Pathfinder. And even though Warmachine players may like playing on the parking lot, I don't, so I need to figure out options that make sense. Plus it's getting me excited to do a battle report again. Like having these guys on the board, fighting, murdering some sort of filthy Signarin swans, evil cricks, filthy legion. Damn Lily's resistance acting up again. Gotta put them in their place. Alright. While I doll up what else is happening here. Fairbanks is a queue right now. Dang it. Hold, please. Oh, so on WoW, because there's been so many people playing Classic, like tripled their subscriber base. Oh my gosh, I'm 1,357 or 1,375 in the queue. They've had these layers on the server in order to not have to deal with making a bunch of servers. It's actually really smart because instead of having server mergers, which everybody freaks out about, they have these layers on the server, so. All that's to say they've condensed the layers now, and so everything's very full right now. I should have logged on an hour ago, but, well, let's see. So I have a 57-minute queue time. Yay. I wash my brush and my drink from time to time. It was well made, strong narrative, great character motivation, epic performance by Joaquin Phoenix. Play Retribution. Those guys are good. Always was very jealous of their infantry. Joker was, well, definitely well performed. I thought it was an interesting movie. Apparently there are mixed reviews for it. I don't know what people were wanting out of it. But I mean, it's a character study, you know? And those movies have different effects on people. I think it's easy to be sensitive to different elements of a character study. So there might be stuff that either reminds you of yourself or reminds you of someone else that you particularly like or dislike, and can lead to weird reactions. Alright. More Rivet work. Rivet. That probably would be metal, wouldn't it? It doesn't have to be. Okay, some more rivets here. Alright, it's starting to look like something, I think. Is it true that Robin Williams played Eldar or just collected them? Pretty sure he played them. Oh, you just started with Retribution. They're good. They're a good faction. They've got interesting lore. But yeah. PC crashed. Oh no. So it's just a slow server merge. Basically, it's a server merge without anybody having to know it, and so they don't have to react to it. It's just, I think it's mostly just a psychological approach. One of the reasons of a big square brush cleaning station from the craft store. Very hard to mix up my drinks. I had one like that, lost it a couple moves ago. The computing requirements for a WoW server should be low and hardware for it should be cheap. No excuse for large queues. Well, the reason for it is because they do want the servers to only be a certain size. One of the things about Classic specifically was a very specific size community. And I think it's still going to be bigger than it was in original vanilla retail, but as long as it's not too big, like where you'll see other players that you have seen on the server, for example, before, then that's fine. But they don't want it where you just have 1 million people on the server. Nobody ever sees the same person again. That's actually, that would be a bad thing. So that's part of it. And I think they're still expecting the numbers to go down, and they are encouraging free server transfers if you want. I don't know who all is looking at doing that, but it's a thing, so. I don't know if we'll just see more Alliance leaving, because that would make our faction imbalance more of a problem, but whatever, I've always played the underdog. This guy seriously has more and more rivets every time I look at him. Oh, right. Of course, his feet. Looks great. Oh, thank you. Next time you get your hair trimmed, you should make some of it into paintbrushes. And you can say part of you went into making your models literally. Well, that's creepy. I would just be, I don't need more reasons to be angry at my hair for not doing what I want. I already get mad at paintbrushes for curling. And I don't think I have fine sable-like hair. Alright, getting the feet rivets on. We're almost there. I'm really sad about this queue I've got. They need to do is faction queues. Just make the stupid horde wait to get on, since there's a bajillion of them. Ooh. Alright, well, I think we're about there. Whoa, that was terrible. Human hair is probably not springy enough. Probably not. How do you recommend to repaint an army that someone already started painting? Is there an easy to strip paint, or should I paint over it? And you're beautiful. Well, thank you. So not all paint jobs are created equal. That's the baseline to this answer. So with that in mind, you have to strip specifically depending on whether or not you're dealing with a white metal, in which case you can do an acetone bath and just strip it all off. And I would think that unless you're really wanting to barely change anything on it, it's going to be worth just stripping the model down to a base level and just starting over. But if you don't want to do that, then you don't have to. If you are going to, an acetone for white metal. Otherwise, Super Clean, I want to say is what it's called. It's this purple bottle stuff, and it works really great on resin plastics. don't put your resin or plastic models in acetone. You will be sad. We all love Cador pen. What brush are you using? Well, this particular one came from Hobby Lobby. So it is a, can you see it? Master's Touch Script one. It came from Hobby Lobby. It was like one of those 50% off sales. And then I'm also using the Baumwick brushes from Monument. These are the Creature Caster brand. Boop. In there somewhere. Come on, you can focus. Almost. Good enough. Monument there, Baumwick. So these are also quite, those are actual sable. I don't think these other ones are. Found out sables are a type of ferret. Hunter gets paid to shave the poor creatures. Just makes them, yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's funny the stuff we still use. All right, so there you go. That's the model with a bajillion rivets. But it happened really quickly, a lot of dots really, but it helps, you know, just add some nice detail to a model that otherwise would be very plain base coaty. That's how old style paintbrushes are made, horsehair, camel hair, yeah. The first time I started mini painting in the early 2000s and most RPG models were still metal. Brake fluid was popular for stripping. Oh my gosh, that stuff will take off anything. That stuff will take off the skin on your hand. It's extremely caustic. Yeah, wow. Well, wait a minute. Brake fluid or brake cleaner? Because brake cleaner is what I'm thinking of, and that stuff is crazy. Blackwash. What's my queue time? Did it go down much? 10:65. Oh dear. Okay, well, whatever. Clean work, well done. Thank you. Get some gold leaf and put some bling on your models. Gold leaf. I have gold leafed before. Never a miniature. That feels, what's the word? Excessive? Like I've literally raised the value of this miniature because it now has actual gold plating on it. Blinging out. It'd be kind of funny. For the right model, I might do that. Like, if I were to have an actual miniature of, like, Queen Ainbanar, who's the leader of the Cadoran Empire, I could see that. That would seem appropriate for her. But, for, like, jacks and stuff, nah. Even the officers aren't going to get that. That and gold leaf is a big old pain in the butt. Alright, getting the Cador darker red. Definitely coating him. Again, he's grimy and oily, and he's been working and fighting, and so he doesn't have time or spare squires to clean his armor for him. So we're gonna definitely make sure he's pretty sooty. The only ones I leave more clean are officers who would take the time to clean their uniforms because of protocol. But these guys are like, what is it? Danny Glover. Too old for that stuff. So, just gonna get that in there. And there's a lot of little details, so you want to make sure you don't miss any, because there's this bizarre clean spot that sticks out. And Nobody wants that. Grimy, dirty Cadoran engine. So if the model's a pompous arse, gold leaf it up. Yeah, I think that's appropriate. And, you know, you're not necessarily going to find a lack of models in Khador that are... They run the spectrum, you know. There's all sorts in Khador. Some of them are pompous, horrible a-holes, and some of them are really relatively upstanding or just very duty-bound and care deeply about their country. But, like, what's his nuts? The guy I always forget the name of because I hate him. Oh, what's another? It also begins with a K, like freaking a bajillion names in Khador. Oof, very grimy. You are dirty. It's probably a little on the overly dirty side. Let's get that gun nice and coated. I love the way the gunmetal looks with a black wash coat. It adds just the right amount of that oiliness. Yeah, I went way nuts on that. Oh my gosh, I think it looks great. Ta-da! So he's super dark now, but now he's got like, he looks like he's been firing that gun all day long and had to walk through mud, and you know how when you have grease on something and then of course it gets dirty and now it's that like black soot. That's what he's got. This is exactly what I wanted. I have used glitter on models in the past on some wondrous tree ladies. Oh, craft herpes. Once you get glitter on something, you have glitter everywhere. Everything it touches, forever. I have a friend who used to gold leaf paint to do his Necrons. My goodness. And extrovert paints, hey there. So if you're painting Khador, can we expect a battle report sometime soon? Maybe. Maybe. Necrons of the time were definitely that. Or gaudy. That character Jack with an Ouroboros skinwalker over his shoulders, pretty sweet looking. That's Ruin. Yeah, he's awesome. I did paint Ruin on a stream already. I actually did paint him a while back. Stood in the firing lines, covered in black powder. Adds nice depth to the model. Thank you. So then I'll obviously have to assemble the pieces and, you know, sort of kept that area in there nice and clean so that the glue can affix. But it'll essentially be something like this when he's all said and done. And that will be that miniature staring at someone across the table and bloating him up. Pull a little bit out of there. I do have a lot of soot on here. I definitely went very crazy and very happy on my sooting. I don't really regret it. I feel good about this soot job. Okay, sweet. And just in time. Yay! I actually got that done. So, you have to give a black wash, especially as much as I just put on here, a few hours probably to totally clear. Maybe an hour technically, but I'm gonna leave it overnight. And then you come back in and you do some highlights and re-highlight the gold, re-highlight some of the metal areas. And obviously finish basing it and marking it, and then you're done. So there's probably another hour's worth of work, honestly, to completely finish him. And then, of course, here's like a little piece that has to go and get plugged into. I hear they're OP. You know, they die pretty easy. They're a little glass cannony. Like, something gets a hold of it, it will wreck the thing, but if it gets the first shots on, it can make its points back really fast. So strike tanker, suppression tanker specifically, that's the one I was using. I actually pulled the rules out for them both. So yeah, the strike tanker's a range 12 gun. It's POW 8, nothing particularly remarkable. However, the slug cannon's armor piercing, so now it's POW 8, and that's actually like hugely significant because you have the armor. So an armor 20 goes down to armor 10, power 8, it stays -2, not bad. Also has grievous wounds, so removes tough. It's a siege weapon, so against huge base models, it gets an additional dice. So it's got a bunch of cool stuff. The tankers also have bulldoze, so you can move dudes around. Love it. Show of hands, who else considers this show their social interaction for the week? Just saying. You guys are probably the most I talk to people. Kate or Glitzy Division, no. Well, Alexander, thank you. Appreciate you coming back out. Remember you from last week. And we'll see you next time. In the meantime, keep up painting. Hopefully I'll see you next week and we'll get some more hobbying done. Bye.